One of you has composed an Allemande, and in this video we are going to rate it. Welcome to this new video. I'm Carlo from Musicus Practicus, and one of you has composed an Allemande following the instruction of the Suite and Dance level, the new level that you can find on the Musicus Practicus Academy. Now, let's see his Allemande. So, here we have his Allemande by Carlo. Hello Carlo, zuppa di Carlo, and next time you'll compose something with MuseScore, which is not the best thing to do with MuseScore, it's better to do on the keyboard and with pencil and paper. Take this stuff and put it very close to the other one, otherwise I have to scroll a lot, because this is a piece that can stay in only one page, okay? Now, this is an Allemande in B minor, and let's start analyzing it. So, here on internet I teach to compose music in the Renaissance and Baroque style as if you had lived in the 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th century, not older, but 15th century, yes. So if you want to learn to compose music, these things, and if you want to know how I can help you, you can find all the info in the description. And now, let's start. We have this Allemande, so let's start playing the Allemande. Yes. Ah. Okay. So first of all, yes, it's almost impossible to read something where you have to scroll 10 times. You lose the sense of the phrasing, so I'll do it here for this time. You are forgiven, but you won't be forgiven the next times. So, this is the first part of the Allemande. Let's see what we can say about the first part of the Allemande. Why? Because the first part of the Allemande, in the first part of any piece actually, you have to create and create all the style, all the informations you need in terms from a rhetorical point of view to develop then the composition in the second part and in the entire composition in two parts if you have only two parts like a dance. Oh, now it's much better to have all of these in only one page. Very nice. So, what can we say? There are a lot of good things. Let's play it from the beginning. For example, the first phrase is very important because one of the elements of the Allemande is that we don't have one specific, a particular melody standing out from one voice. But here the melody that we have is ta la sol fa la sol fa la sol fa mi la mi fa sol fa mi re, with this dialogue among the voices, and so that's perfect. Now, fa mi fa sol fa mi ma pa ta do re ri fa so ti ta ra re re re, and that's very good. We have like a question and an answer. Pa pa do ta la do ta do 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 di da do di 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 do di ta di do da da do ra pa 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 di ra re. Pa pam pa 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 pam pa 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 pam. As you can see, the phrasing is starting there. I'm not so convinced by this note, by repeating that. I will tie this way. So, then instead of this movement, because the phrase is ending on B, I would put a rest, because this way you help the voice to breathe. Fa, mi, re, sol, mi, fa, re, pom, pa, pa, pam, pam. Then, okay, here of course an F sharp, an A sharp. Then ti, do, ta, do, ti, do, ti. And up to this point it's all perfect. It's all perfect. We clearly have a phrase ending here. Fa, mi, re, a thetic point in this, on beat number 1 of the third bar. Then one more thing, I'm not totally sure that if you have a cadence with 3 voices, 4 voices on the downbeat like here can help you, because it's not the last cadence, so it seems stronger and you don't need so much heaviness. So get rid of the first F, dotted note, and this way, pam, pa, pam. Then I really like how you open the phrase. Here, probably, I don't know if you wanted G sharp or G natural. Let's try both, because we have a little cadence. No, G natural works. G sharp is very bad. Okay, the Neapolitan cadence makes sense. It's too much early according to my taste. I would reserve a Neapolitan cadence for the very last. Cadence. Here. This passage is a little weird. Why? For several reasons. Here I know you want to move to the 5th degree, but okay, I'm not so fan of this anticipation, since it's something you haven't been using a lot. So would be much better ta-ra-ra-ram, since you're using this figuration, which doesn't have the repetition. As you can see here, you're using a repetition. If you do the repetition of the same note and then you move down to D sharp here. It's a very small thing, but it's in these small things that you create the Baroque style, okay? Because the harmony, it's all correct, you already know harmony, you know how to compose music. Here you're studying dances, okay? How to set what you already know about composition partimento into the style of the dances. So here it's more coherent. If you do ta, fa, la, ta, ra, ta, ta, pa, pa, because it's something you have already used. Then A sharp, no. I guess G sharp, D sharp. Okay, we don't have any A sharp which is written here, but I'd like an A sharp in that point, because it's working as an appoggiatura. So and you can even create the suspension if you sustain that C sharp. Fa, fa, la, sol, fa, la, sol, la, fa, sol, fa. Then, I'm not a big fan of this because this way you're creating a dissonance, a seventh over the bass, which is not resolved in the correct position. So makes sense to change the seventh to the other voice, but change it. So don't stay on E that way. You can do many things. Tati, to, tati, te, te, to, da, to, ti, re, to, ta, 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 ra, ta, ta, tan. And another thing is about the melody. It's a little too much repetitive. If you want to be repetitive, okay, can be a technique, but in a cadence like this, I don't know, I don't like it at all. If you move down to B, taratan, taratan, tan, tan, it's much, much better. Then what can you do? Pam pam pa 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 pam 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 pam. Here, pam, move up, pam, G sharp, tan, ta. Yes, let me see. No, this way. Taratan, taratan. After G sharp, G sharp, A natural. This way with this rhythm. They are 30 seconds. Tac. Pam pa ta pam pa ran. Ta. Then ta ta. Okay. And as you can see, you have a continuous of 16th notes. There is a problem here. A 16 is missing because you have only a quarter note moving. I understand that you have some diminutions in 30 seconds, but here we need a 16th. So you can take this figuration, think more in counterpoint. You use the. You can do an imitation, tan, 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 tan. This is not something belonging to the style of the dances itself. This is more related to counterpoint and compositional techniques. But in this context, it works very well. Tan, 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 tan. Then, yes, to, ti, to, tin, ta. Or better, actually, we said to put D and C. Taraton, tan, tan, tan. So from this note, ton, ton, ta, ti, ta, which means that in the middle voice, sol, fa, mi, and then la, sol, fa can work under E sharp, this way. Sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa. And it's very unbalanced to the previous, compared to the previous phase. No, if you do this, stay there with a long note at the top, and the cadence happens here. But you can have a 4-3 in the middle. Pam pa 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 pam tan tararararan tan. Tan. And we need a very long note in the bass, ton tirita, so rest, tan tara tara tan 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 tan, stop. This is something you don't need, that note. This with a quarter, ta, because then you have the anticipation of the repetition. Let's listen now to the first part. Okay, then let's see the second section. Even here, let's do our best to have something very close and to don't scroll 2000 times, okay? But before passing to the following section, I have something very important to say to you. This work is a project within the suite and dance level. What's the suite and dance level? The suite and dance level is the third level of the Baroque path in the Musicus Practicus Academy. What is this? It is a path, the path that you would have followed if you have studied in the Renaissance or in the Baroque, in this case with the Baroque path in the Baroque, music composition, so how to compose music in that style. The Baroque path is composed of the first level, which is the solmization level, where you learn to read music with syllables and hexachords. Then the second level is a very big level composed of the partimento method, so the basic of compositions, the basic, more than the basic, from the basics to a very high level, because they are 12 chapters, 12 big levels. Then following level, the third level is suite and dances, where you learn to compose a suite according to the several rhythms of the dances. So the Allemande, the courant, the French courant, French-Italian corrente, sarabande, minuet, gavotte, bourrée, lourd, passepied, giga, so the Italian giga, the two types of the Italian giga, A and B, and the French giga. This is the third level. Why the third level? Because after learning the techniques of composition and partimento, you learn the dance and the rhythms. The rhythms are something you'll apply in any composition, any piece, even a prelude or any other composition has inside some rhythms arriving from dances. Even the majority of Bach cantatas, those movements has a rhythm implied in a courant, in a passepied, or in a minuet. So that's why it's important to know dances, because when you learn to compose dances, you learn to correctly set the rhythms. If you're a very beginner, you can start with the subscription model, where you do all the things in the correct way. Otherwise, you can choose the full access path, lifetime, where you pay only one time and you have all, and you're free to leap and choose the level you prefer. Then, if you want to learn dances, this is the level, the third level, suite and dances, and which is even the sponsor of this video, of course, because Carlo is learning from there. So here is suite and dances and how it works. Allemande, courant, sarabande, giga, minuet, corrente, passepied, couré, gavotte, lourd. Learn how to compose a Baroque suite with all its dances. Study the compositional techniques of each dance. Analyze the work of the great composers and compose two full suites together with me. Discover Suite and Dances, the third level of the Musicus Practicus Baroque Path. Go to this link, explore everything you will learn, and start today with the free levels on the Musicus Practicus Academy free. Then choose the complete path that suits you best and get ready to compose your first Baroque suite as if you had lived in the 18th century. Okay, very good. Now let's continue our analysis, and let's check the second part. Let's play the second part. Here it is. Okay. Seriously? Seriously? Wait, wait. These are very brutal parallel fifths, eh? These are very brutal parallel fifths. So no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Bad, 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 bad. These are brutal parallel fifths. So I want to do this. No, not smiling. This way with the bones. Dangerous, dangerous. Dangerous parallel fifths. No, 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 please. So how to fix this? Actually, you can hold that note because the resolution at the end, fa, re, do, sol, fa, fa, mi, sol, la, it's arriving there. So you can do that without any problem. And you solve the problem of parallel fifth. No parallel fifth, no. Okay, now. It's very nice. Okay, I'm checking it. Ah, you want to be very hard. Okay, no, no, there are a lot of things to fix in the second part. Okay, the first phrase is okay, I really like it. Then, I agree with the abruptio. This is a technique where you don't resolve the phrase. It can be very nice. But I think it's a little too much. You can do it with only one voice, so we can do it with the bass. How? So, pam, 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 psh, makes sense. Even because here the abruptio makes sense, but here you put an upbeat and then anything. So, pam, pa, pam, pa, 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 at least do something. Pam, pam, pam. Fa, super, la, sol, fa, la, tu. Here, okay, okay. And now treble start. First of all, this is this G sharp F is something you don't need because you're doing a speech with only 3 voices now. If you want to do something this chromatic this way, where you have this point, this is a very dissonant point, okay? I don't find it so effective in this style, in this dance. Listen. it's just enough to add a syncopation, tan, 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 where you have the augmented fifth, so it's nice. Tan, 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 tan. 3, 5, 6, 4, 3, 8. And from a melodic point of view, can work. If we put the syncopation, it's even better. Then, what may be very strange is the C sharp against C natural, but you know, can work in this context, is an appoggiatura, the other voice is staying there, otherwise you can put a rest at the place of that note, because Sol, you have this. And this. I said it's much better if you resolve this cadence, because you know you have something which is very surprising, and I'm expecting a cadence to arrive to the end. I don't like so much this rest. I won't say that it's wrong, because the cadence is good from a counterpoint point of view. I don't like it. We need this. Then even this. Let's see what we can do, because it's something expected. We could do because you're moving to F. Pa, pa, pam, pa, pa, pam. Or another thing, even better, put the bruzio in the top. Pa, sol, la, sol, la, sol, la, and you resolve it only here. That's much better. Ta, tan, tan. I would say that I'm not so fan of this movement, but I'll tell you what you can do. Because it's a monte, this can be a step down to the in the previous phase. So you can do mi, fa, sol, la, and you can modify a little this point. So or no. So we have a fourth. And then you change it, yes, because you don't want a true monte. I mean, you don't want a copy and paste. So fa, mi, re, mi, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, this way, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, la, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, fa, re, pam, pom, as you want. And then ta, 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 a step higher from C sharp, ta, 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 ton, 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 and then we reconnect. to your point. So the monte this way is very powerful. Or more than the rest, here we have your A. This way. Or tora taron tun tora fa di tan, something like this, or tora fa di de ta 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 tan. And one more thing, I don't like at all this C sharp actually. Here, for example, the Neapolitan turn on. Oh, it's not Neapolitan turn, it's just the Fa super La. Fa, La, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi. Because the hexachord is on Ut. Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Sol, Fa, Mi, Fa. This way it works. It works. Here you were moving up. Now down because we have a different movement in the bass. So to F, and you can reconnect it. I really think that if we do this cadence now, it's really bad to move to that F the same, so another time. But let's keep what you did. Now, what are you doing in this point? You want to move down. The pattern that you're using is descending thirds, and here you accelerate the movement. So La, Fa, and that's okay. The bass is too much static. No, in Allemande you cannot have a very movement, a bass which is moving a lot and then to stop it suddenly this way. No, no, no. It doesn't work at all. So you need a bass which is moving more. Okay, I agree with the fact that you can pass, you can pass to two voices for one bar, but ta ti to ta ra 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 ta ra ra tan ta ra ra. Or okay, the abruptio may have sense. In that case, I suggest you a seventh, a dissonance. Why? Because this way the abruptio is even more enhanced. How to use correctly the descending thirds? It's very easy. And then pa, 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 pa. It's not the best thing at all this way. First of all, we can move to this note, then you can move down to B. Instead of the seventh here, let's use the imperfect consonants in the bass. Then A sharp is going to the top. And we'll put the seventh this way. They are parallel fifth, I know. As appoggiaturas they may work, otherwise, if you don't like them, ta, ta, you can do this way. Pa, 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 pi, tu, ta, ta, ta. This way you can use the suspension. Ta, 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 so, ba, pa, ta, ta. This way, let's see. Now, it's very important to understand where you want to go. You want to move to B minor, of course, because you're approaching the last cadence. So, and there is a dialogue between the two upper voices. So this is the rule. Okay, F sharp. You can do the septive cadence. And then you can do something like that. What did I do? I write it now for you. So, the septive cadence, imperfect consonants, ta-ta, tan 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 ta, this way. Pa pom pa la fa do la fa fa sol fa la f. It's very rhetorical. La fa sol fa. In that case, fa do re. You can use D sharp. Fa do re, and in the bass D sharp. This is very beautiful. Fa do re, fa la sol fa. Then fa la sol fa ba do fa la mi fa. This way you can create a suspension. Then because you're approaching the last cadence, you can do move with parallel sixth, or better, parallel thirds actually. Ta ta tan, and the last cadence cannot be a comma cadence. You need a 5-1 cadence, a bass cadence. Because remember that in these dances, the true cadence is here. What's happening here is not a cadence. It can be a confirmation cadence, but the true cadence of the dance is happening here. So this 7-1 doesn't work. You need a 5-1. And that's why we need an F sharp in the bass. Then if you want, suspension, then false polyphony, rest, this way, with this note to be here, and then this. Okay. With the 7th, it's even better. What is strange from the first to the second part is that all these 30-second notes you put here, they don't find any other development. They are very strange. So I would expect a cadence which is an elaboration and a transposition of these from a a cadence to F sharp major, so the 5th degree, or F sharp minor, but with a major third because the key is the 5th degree, to B minor, so to the 1st degree. This is what I'm expecting. Okay, so the Allemande now it's much better, it's good, but I'm still asking myself what's the meaning, the rhetorical meaning of these 30 seconds notes. There's something which is missing. I don't know, probably, this is your first Allemande, so first of all, congratulations, because it's your first Allemande, and it's a well done work. Now, your following works follow a structure which is much clearer in your mind. So, set up the number of the bars, and you did it, I know, 8 plus 8, and choose in advance where you want to put cadences. 4 bar, and you put a cadence, strong cadence, and then another strong cadence. Then, in the middle of the second section, it's even missing a clear cadence to D major. We need it. And then, at the end, this cadence seems to be, sounds very strange. Not itself, but in the context. You're not reusing other elements, or you're not repeating the same cadence transpose, which is a very common thing in these dances. Look at the analysis that you can find that you studied, I hope, in the Allemande level. By the way, now let's play this Allemande from the beginning again in order to conclude this video. Ta 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 ti re to ta ta tam pa ta ti. Ritornello, and then okay, and one more thing, a couple of things that I found in playing now in the second section. This is okay. I feel that we need a third voice ton, ton, to complete the speech, ton, ton, ta, and only then you're free to continue with only 2 voices. So you have the cadence, consider this, that you have the cadence, this part still belongs to the previous part, and then the new section with 2 voices. And here, how can you justify this F sharp? Where is it arriving from? False polyphony, so at the end add these 2 rests. It's okay to use the steel brise. And this way you have ta-ra-ra-ram, which makes much more sense, and this arises from the middle voice, this way. This is tied, so it's a knee which is tied. And then let's play it last time. One more thing here, it's a little weak, this harmony. Why? Because there is the third which is missing. So two, pa, pam, E sharp sounds better. Bravo! Now it's much better. So I would redo the last two bars to do a conclusion which is transposed from the first part. So basically, find a way to reconnect the first part in order to have with B and B in the bass working as a first degree, and then apply your 30 seconds note. This way, it makes much more sense. By the way, this is how to improve your composition, and now sounds much better. And if all of you, bravo Carlo, bravo, and if someone of you want to learn, if you want to learn to compose music in this style, there are different things. There are recorded courses of the Baroque and Renaissance path. There are one-to-one lessons. There is pattern, when every day you learn something new, because I every day put something new on pattern, and a video, something about a book, an exercise or something else, or get in touch with me so we can do one-to-one lessons according to your level. Maybe you're a beginner and you need to work with one-to-one lessons, okay? To have a better gradual approach, you need something more customized and personalized at the beginning. Carlo is already advanced, so he can study by his own some things like suite and dances. In any case, suite and dances, if you already have a solid background in suite composition, in general in composition, you can do it by yourself, the suite and dance level that you can find in the description. All the other things here in the description, and see you here for another video. Every self-respecting Baroque composer wrote at least one suite with their own dances. Think of Bach's French suites, Handel's suite, or harpsichord partitas by other great composers. Composing a suite is a true challenge. Each dance has its own rhythms, phrasing, style, and unique character. And if you don't study how each one works, you risk writing an Allemande that sounds like a gavotte, a French courante that feels like a sarabande, or a minuet that turns into a passe-pied. No, no, no! What you need is structure, method, and the right knowledge. That's why I created an entire level on the Musicus Practicus Baroque Path dedicated to composing a complete Baroque suite with all its dances. The dances you'll study include Allemande, sarabande, minuet, gavotte, bourrée, French courante, Italian corrente, passe-pied, lourd, French jig, and Italian giga. Each dance is introduced in a carefully structured didactical order, and for every one of them I've designed a target learning method, the most effective one I've used and I use in my one-to-one lessons, which has helped students achieve faster and more solid results. First, we studied the compositional elements of each dance: rhythm, phrasing and structure. Then, we analyzed many real examples from different composers so you can learn directly from them and be inspired by their work. Finally, the active part. We composed 2 full suites together, writing 2 dances for each type, one in B flat major and the other one in B minor, to explore the expressive richness of both major and minor modes. All of these and much more in the 3rd level of the Musicus Practicus Baroque Path, Suite and Dances. Click the link to download the free ebook on Suite and Dances and to explore the full content. Then get started with the 3 levels you can find on the Musicus Practicus Academy free. Then choose the complete path that suits you best and get ready to compose your Baroque suite as if you had lived in the 18th century.